In this video, we're going to see how to install a ceiling fan. Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome to the Average Me channel. In this video, we are going to be replacing a ceiling light with a ceiling fan. And this is going to take a number of steps. First, we're going to have to remove the existing light fixture. Then we're going to have to take out the junction box. The reason we're going to do that is the current junction box is probably not strong enough to support the weight and movement of a ceiling fan. Then I want to replace it with a junction box and a support that is designed to support a ceiling fan. And after we get that in, then we're going to wire and hang the ceiling fan. Here's the light I'm going to be replacing. Of course, the first thing we want to do is turn off the power at the breaker box. I don't want to have 110 volts of electricity coursing through my body when I'm standing on an aluminum ladder. Okay, so my first step is going to be take off this cover. See what we have underneath there. What I found up there is going to make a difference on how I wire this. There were two ways. If I found that that was double switched, because I do have a switch in there that doesn't seem to be hooked up to anything. I've never traced it yet. If I saw a set of wires up there, it would have been nice because I could have one switch for the light and one switch for the fan. As is, there's only one switch that powers this. I don't want to rewire anything. So what's going to happen is when I wire up the fan, I'll have pull cords, and that way we can turn the light on and off or the fan on and off with the pull cord. What I'll probably do is have the light always on, so when the light switch goes on, the light is always on, and then I will activate the fan with the pull chain. Okay, I got very lucky here with this joist. You can see those two screws are screwed directly into a metal joist here, and you can tell because in these holes right here, the holes I'm pointing to, you can see the joist and you can see those two screws are screwed directly into it. So this box is very, very secure. But let me show you how I was prepared to reinforce that if that wasn't the case. This is a ceiling brace and a box kit. And you can see the picture here. I'll take it out and show you exactly what it looks like. What we have is a joist, brace, and then this is the box. And what happens is these feet rest on the drywall ceiling. And on the end here, you can see these little spikes. So you put it up there and then you turn this. And when you turn this, see what's happening right there, that's expanding. So you would put it up, rest this on the ceiling between two joists, and then turn until this embeds itself into the wooden joist. And then there's this hanger which would go on top of this, and the new box would go underneath, and that's what would support the new fan. As is, this isn't necessary because we already have metal joists, aluminum joists in there, and this is screwed directly into that. I'm just going to take this one back to the store, but it is a really nice product. It's a nice way of doing it. So if you can get inside that little hole and put this inside, you can actually hang a box without having to worry about tearing out all the ceiling drywall. Now all fans are a little different, so please read your instruction guide, your installation guide, but they're going to be generally the same. So the next step is I'm going to unscrew this cover from the bracket, and this bracket gets attached directly to that junction box. Notice there are rubber pads here to give a little bit of support and help with the vibration. The other thing I'm going to point out, if this is a relatively low ceiling, it's about 8.5 feet, maybe 8 feet 5 inches, somewhere around there. And it says with ceilings 8 inches or shorter that you should mount directly to the ceiling. I got that 5 inches, so I'm still going to use the standard mount having the little bar. And that's really nice too, because that allows the vibration and the swivel, and it puts a lot less stress on your junction box. Be sure that you check and make sure that whatever you have up there is going to support the weight of the fan. Now we can get down to business and start getting that fan up there and threading all the wires through. This is a down rod that's going to support the fan assembly. So I'm going to take this cotter pin out and remove this pin. Then all of these are going to have to come out. This is where the fan blades are going to attach, and this keeps that motor from spinning around in shipping. So I'm just going to take out 10 of these screws and remove these plastic blocks. Okay, those are all out now. And that motor spins freely. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to loosen these set screws. There are 2 of them, here and here, and I'm going to loosen those up. All right, now we have to do a lot of stuff kind of at once. We're going to take this bar and put it through that. Remember, that's what's going to attach to the ceiling. That's what was on that bracket. And then we're going to run it through this. That's the bezel that's going to push up against the motor housing. Then I got to feed all this wire through there. And then I'm going to feed this right through there. There's holes that line up, and that's where the pin is going to go. So it's going to be a little hard to see that. But I got the pin through. Now I got to lock it in place with the cotter pin. So there we go. There's the pin. And that was kind of a struggle for a little bit because the wire was getting in the way, so I had to work that pin around the wire. But there it is. It's through now. So this is now being able to hold on nice and tight. Now I'm going to have to tighten up those set screws. Now there's an awful lot of wire here because they allow enough in case you have to really drop this down from a high ceiling. I don't. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to give it about 8 inches. That's probably more than I need. Then this is just going to have to be tucked up in the junction box anyway. So I'm going to simplify this wiring a little bit by cutting these off. And then I'm going to strip off about the same amount that we see here, about a ½ an inch. This next step is going to be really difficult to do with a camera in the way, so I'm just going to explain what I'm going to do. Then I'll climb up there and do it. So this down rod with the ball will fit right into here. It'll slide in from the top. Then the whole fan will be able to dangle there while I wire it together. So there it is. You can see that's resting. Now it's a pretty simple matter to just hook up all the wires. I've got 3 wires here, my ground. So my 2 grounds are going to go to this ground. I got a ground from the bracket. I got a ground from my motor. And then I have this ground. And then I have the power wires. This yellow wire is probably the hot wire since there's no black wire up here. Sometimes they use that for hot or traveler wires with a 2-way switch. This is or a 3-way switch. This is not a 3-way switch, but that's the way they do it. So we'll be hooking the blue and the black up to that yellow. The white is neutral, that'll go to white. And the green wires are ground, that'll go to that bare wire. Now, if you had a 4th wire or you had another switch up here, you would have 2 hots, and black would go to one, blue would go to the other. And that way we could switch the lights and the fan independently. But that's not the case. So there it is, white to white. My black and blue are to the yellow, which is a hot wire. And my green wires are to the bare ground. Now I'm going to nest these all up into my junction box, and then I can put this bezel back on. Now we have to assemble the blades to the bracket. Pretty straightforward process. We have metal washers, the screws, and rubber washers. So I'm going to assemble all of those at once. It goes metal washer to the inside, rubber washer to the outside. Just remember the rubber washer is coming in contact with the blade, and that's going to screw straight through into the bracket. So just like that, and that's the pretty side. Remember those screws you took out earlier? I hope you didn't throw them away, because now is when we're going to use those in order to attach the blade up to the motor. I would recommend installing opposite sides so it doesn't tip too far to one side. There are the fan blades installed. Now to install the light kit. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this adapter housing on. Now you can see there are 1, 2, 3 holes. 2 of them are slotted and 1 is round, which means that I will remove one of these screws and loosen the other 2 and put this in place, turn it, and then tighten all the screws down. So now in this particular unit, these 2 connectors, they're 9-pin connectors, they're going to screw together. And then the white and the blue, these are going to snap in to my lighting housing. If I don't want to install a lighting kit, all I have to do is put this cover on, run the chain through it, and we're finished. But I do want to put a lighting kit in, so we have a little more work to do. I'm going to have my hands full when I get up there. So what I'm going to have to do is take these 3 screws out. That's what's going to connect it to the housing. These are the 2 wires I just showed you that are going to hook up. And I'm also going to remove all of this stuff here, because when the light cover goes on, that's going to be used to hold the light cover on. So I'm going to put that up there. The chain is going to go through that hole, and then I'll tighten it all together. All that's left is to put in the light bulbs, put the globe on, turn on my power, and give it a try. Here's my lights. There's my fan. So let's wrap things up. We're all done. There's only one glitch I want to show you. Everything works perfectly. This turns the light on and off. This starts the fan and goes through the different fan speeds. However, when I pull the chains through these holes, this one works just fine. This is for the fan, so the fan comes at a little bit of an angle and the chain gets caught up in the hole of the glass. So what I think I'm going to do is get a nice long strong nylon cord. You can get them in colors so they look good. They're strong, they're long lasting, they're slick and slippery, and that will never get caught like the chain does. Matter of fact, the first time I pulled that chain, I had to pull it so hard, it broke the chain. So other than that, I'm really happy with it. You can see it works just fine. So all I have to do is fix that pull chain and we're in business. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner, and don't forget to ring that bell icon. That way you'll know when I post new videos. And I hope to see you here next week for Weekend Warrior.